Hello my dear students, good morning. Welcome back to a new video of Sunanda's tutorial. So in this video I will discuss line by line of the chapter 1, that is reproduction in organisms, which is present in your NCERT Biology book, class 12th NCERT Biology book. So before starting the main topic, here about Panchanan Maheshwari is mentioned. Panchanan Maheshwari is the father of Indian embryology, and he has many papers, many journals, and he did many experiments, scientific investigation in the field of embryology, in the field of botany. So now let us discuss about the reproduction in organism, which is your chapter 1 of NCERT Biology, 12th class biology book. So at first it is mentioned that each and every organism can live only for a certain period of time. The period from birth to natural death of an organism represents the lifespan. So it is the lifespan or duration of life where organism birth and then death. So the span from birth to death is known as lifespan. Now what is reproduction? Reproduction is defined as a biological process in which organisms gives rise to young ones similar to itself. In the process where organism produce another organism or offspring like them. The offspring grow, mature, in turn produce new offspring. Thus there is a cycle of birth, growth and death. Reproduction enables the continuity of species generation after generation. You will study later in chapter 5, which is principle of inheritance and variation, how genetic variation is created and inherited during reproduction. So here in this paragraph the definition of reproduction is mentioned. Then here the types of reproduction is mentioned. It is of two types. One is asexual and one is sexual reproduction. What is asexual reproduction? When offspring is produced by a single parent with or without involvement of gamete formation, the reproduction is asexual. It is monoparental. Asexual reproduction is monoparental. But when two parents participate or two parents of opposite sex participate in the reproductive process and involves fusion of male and female gamete, it is called sexual reproduction. So reproduction can be of two types. One is asexual, one is sexual. Asexual reproduction is monoparental, involving only one parents. And here there is no gamete fusion. But the sexual reproduction is biparental, involving two parents. Here the fusion of two opposite gametes occur to form the zygote. Then details about the asexual reproduction. In this method, single individual parent is capable of producing offspring. As a result of offspring that are produced are not only identical to one another but are also exact copy of their parent. The term clone is used to describe such morphologically, genetically similar individual. Then let us see how widespread asexual reproduction is among different group of organisms. Asexual reproduction is common among single-celled organisms and in plant and animal with relatively simple organization. In protists and monerans, the organisms or parent cell divide by mitosis into two to give rise to new individual. Thus, in these organisms, cell division itself is a mode of reproduction. So, in organisms like Monera and Protista, which are lower group of organisms, cell division is a method of reproduction. Cell division is a asexual reproduction. Here, normal cell divide to form two cells. So it is a simple cell division, and it is a means of cell division in lower group of organism like Monera and Protista. Many single-celled organisms reproduce by binary fission. Cell divides into two halves and each rapidly grows into adults. For example, in amoeba, paramecium. So binary fission is a mode of asexual reproduction. Then in yeast, the division is unequal and small buds are produced that remain attached initially to the parent cell, which eventually get separate and mature into new yeast organism. Suppose it is a yeast, a new bud is formed as lateral outgrowth. Now this bud detach and form a new hydra. This method is commonly seen in case of yeast. Under unfavorable condition, amoeba withdraws the pseudopodia and secrete three-layered hard covering or cyst around itself called encystation. Amoeba with their false feet or pseudopodia. In unfavorable condition, this pseudopodia, they absorb this pseudopodia and form a cyst or a hard covering around itself, and that process is known as encystation. When favorable condition returns, the encysted amoeba divides by multiple fission and reproduces many minute amoeba and pseudopodiospores. The cyst wall bursts out and spores are liberated in the surrounding medium to grow into many amoeba, and this phenomenon is known as sporulation. Then members of kingdom of fungi and simple plants such as algae reproduce by special type of asexual reproduction or reproductive structure. The most common of these structures are zoospores, that usually microscopic motile structure. So zoospores are microscopic motile spores. Zoospores are always motile, that usually are microscopic and motile structure. Other common asexual reproductive structures are conidia, which are found in penicillium, buds which are found in hydra, gamules present in sponge. While in animal and other simple organism, the term asexual is used unambiguously. In plant, the vegetative reproduction is frequently used. So in lower group of organism or animals, generally the asexual reproduction term is used for asexual reproduction, or where the sex gametes are not involved. But in case of plants, it is called as vegetative propagation, or the plant can be vegetatively propagate by runner, rhizome, sucker, tuber, offset, bulb. All these are capable of giving rise to new offspring. These structures are called vegetative propagules. Then obviously, since the formation of this structure does not involve two parents, the process involved is asexual. In some organisms, if the body breaks into distinct pieces or fragments, each fragment grow into an adult capable of producing offsprings, and for example seen in case of hydra. This is also a method of asexual reproduction known as fragmentation, where the body of the organism fragment into many pieces, and each of these piece or fragment is capable of grow and form a new plant. Then here about the Bengal, terror of Bengal is mentioned. You must heard about the scourge of water bodies, or about the terror of Bengal or Bengal terror. This is nothing but the aquatic plant water hyacinth, which is one of the most invasive weeds found growing wherever there is standing water. It drains oxygen or absorbs oxygen from water, which leads to death of the fishes. So you may find that it is introduced to India because of its beautiful flowers and shape of leaves. Since it cannot propagate vegetatively at a phenomenal rate, And so since it can propagate vegetatively at a phenomenal rate and spread all over the water body in a short period of time, it is very difficult to get rid of them. So they can vegetatively propagate or vegetatively reproduce and grow vigorously in any water body. Then in potato, like in plant like potato, sugarcane, banana, ginger, dahlia, there are nodes are present. Nodes are present in the modified stems of these plants. When the node come in contact with damp soil, they produce root and form new plant. Similarly, adventitious buds arise from the notches present in the margin of leaves in bryophyllum. So it is all about the different types or modes of asexual or vegetative reproduction found in plant and lower group of organisms. Then sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves the formation of male and female gametes either by same individual or by different individual of the opposite sex. These gametes fuse to form zygote which develop to form new organism. It is an elaborate, complex and slow process as compared to asexual reproduction. Because the fusion of male and female gametes, sexual reproduction results in offspring that are not identical to parent or among themselves. So, all organisms have to reach a certain age of growth and maturity in their life before they can reproduce sexually. That period of growth is known as juvenile phase or vegetative phase in case of plants. Then in case of animal, for example birds, do they lay all through the year or it is seasonal phenomenon? What about other animal like frogs and lizard? You will notice that bird living in nature lays egg only seasonally. However, birds in captivity or poultry farms can be made to lay egg throughout the year. In this case, laying egg is not related to reproduction, but it is a commercial exploitation for human welfare. The female of placental mammals exhibit cyclical change in activities of ovaries and accessory ducts as well as hormones during reproductive phase. In non-primate mammals like cow, sheep, rat, deer, dogs, tiger, etc., such cyclical changes during reproduction are called oestrus cycle. Whereas in case of primates such as monkey, apes and human, it is called menstrual cycle. Many mammals, especially those living in natural wild condition, exhibit such cycle only during favorable season in their reproductive phase and therefore called seasonal breeders. Many other mammals are reproductively active throughout their reproductive phase and called continuous breeders. So what are the events of sexual reproduction? There are only three distinct phases. One is pre-fertilization, that means the phase before the fusion of male and female gamete. Then the fertilization, the fusion phase of male and female gamete. Then post-fertilization events. Pre-fertilization events include the gametogenesis or gamete formation, then gamete transfer. That means generally the transfer of male gamete occur to the female gamete. At first the gametogenesis, as you already aware, gametogenesis refers to the process of formation of two types of gametes. One is male gamete and the female gamete. Gametes are always haploid in nature. Male gamete is haploid, female gamete is haploid. They fuse to form the zygote which is diploid in nature. In some algae, two gametes are so similar in appearance that it is not possible to categorize them into male and female gamete. They are known as homogametes or isogametes, but sometimes they are morphologically distinct, known as heterogametes. In such organisms, male gamete is called antherozoids or sperm, and female gamete called egg cell or ovum. Then sexuality is in organism. Sexual reproduction in organism generally involves the fusion of gametes to form two different individuals. But this is not always true. Plants may both have male and female reproductive structure in same plant called bisexual, or the male sex organ and female sex organ sometimes born on different plant called unisexual. In several fungi and plants, the term homothallic and monoecious are used to denote bisexual condition. Homothallic means in one thallus or one plant, two sexes are found, and monoecious means same. Monoecious means when two sexes are, that means male sex and female sex organs are found in a same thallus or plant. And heterothallic means when two male gamete or male sex organ and female sex organ are found in two distinct plant and in two different thallus. Then when the flowering plant, in case of flowering plant, unisexual male flower, the flowering plant with unisexual male flower is called staminate, and they bear only stamen, and female flower called pistillate or pistillate plant, or the female flower is known as pistillate. In some flowering plant, both male and female flower may be present on same individual called monoecious or on separate individual called dioecious. But what about animals? Are individual of all species either male and female unisexual, or the species which possess both reproductive organ called bisexual? You probably can make a list of several unisexual species. Earthworm, sponge, tapeworm, leech, typical example of bisexual plant that possess both male and female reproductive organs and called as hermaphrodites. But cockroach is an example of unisexual species. Then cell division during gamete formation. During the process of gametogenesis or gamete formation, gametes are haploid. They are produced from the in the body of their parents by the process of meiosis. So they are haploid in nature. Generally, diploid organisms produce haploid gametes. So in this table, the chromosome number of in the meiocytes and gametes of some organisms are mentioned. Then gamete transfer. The male gamete transfer to the female gamete in case of plants by the process of pollination. Then after the pollination, fertilization occur. Fertilization or syngamy, that means fusion of two gametes to form a diploid zygote. Sometimes the female gamete undergo the development of a new organism without fertilization. The process is called parthenogenesis. Where does syngamy occur? In most of the organisms such as majority of algae and fishes, syngamy occur in the external medium. This type of gamete fusion is called external fertilization. In many terrestrial organisms belonging to fungi and higher animals such as reptiles, birds, mammals, syngamy occur inside the body called internal fertilization. Then after the fertilization event, zygote is formed from the fusion product of male and female gamete, which is diploid in nature. It will divide to form the embryo and then to a complete new organism. Then embryogenesis is the development of embryo. It refers to the development of embryo from the zygote. In embryogenesis, zygote undergoes cell division or mitosis and cell differentiation. While cell division increases the number of cells in developing embryo, cell differentiation helps the group of cells to undergo certain modifications to form specialized tissue and organ from the organism. Then the animals are categorized into oviparous and viviparous based on the development of the zygote takes place outside the body or of the female parent or inside, whether they lay fertilized or unfertilized egg or give birth to young ones. In oviparous animals like reptiles, birds and fertilized egg covered by hard calcareous cell. are laid in a safe place in the environment. After a period of incubation or incubation period, young ones hatch out. On the other hand, viviparous, which are the majority of which is sit in case of mammals including human being, zygote develops into young inside the body of the female organism or mother's womb. After attaining a certain stage of growth, the young ones are delivered out of the body of female organism. Because of the proper embryonic care and protection, chances of survival of young ones is greater in viviparous organism. In flowering plants, zygote is formed inside the ovule. After fertilization, sepal, petal, stamen and flower wither and fall off. Then zygote develop into embryo, ovule develop into seed, ovary develop into fruit, which develops a thick wall called pericarp, which is the fruit wall that is protective in function. After dispersal, seed germinate under favorable condition to produce new plants. So it is all about your reproduction in organism, and chapter 1 completes. In my next video, I will discuss about the chapter 3 of your NCERT 12th class NCERT Biology book. So stay tuned and enjoy my videos like this. And please like, share and subscribe to my channel Sunanda's Tutorial.